coaster scream is an urban legend that has haunted listeners for decades, a chilling tale of terror embedded in a seemingly innocent funk track. The story surrounds the hit song Love Roller Coaster by the Ohio Players, a high-energy tune that took the airwaves by storm. But hidden within its upbeat rhythm lies something far darker, a blood-curdling scream that echoes during the instrumental break. At first, it seems like nothing more than an artistic touch, a wild sound effect to emphasize the chaos of the roller coaster ride. But the scream is so raw, so horrifying, that it feels out of place. It doesn't sound like joy or excitement. It sounds like fear, pure and primal, and that's where the legend begins. According to the tale, the scream isn't a manufactured sound effect at all. It's said to be the desperate cry of a woman in her final moments, captured in the most horrifying of circumstances. Some claim the scream was lifted directly from a real-life emergency call, recorded as a woman was being attacked. Others insist that the sound came from the studio itself, where a model, allegedly the woman featured on the album cover, was violently murdered after an argument with the band. The eerie scream has been dissected and analysed, yet no definitive answer has ever been given. It lingers as an unsettling reminder of how closely horror and reality can intertwine. Whether it's a creative flourish or a recording of something truly sinister, one thing is certain. Once you've heard the Love Roller Coaster scream, you'll never forget it. And every time the song plays, you might wonder, what if the legend is true? What if that scream belongs to a ghost whose cry for help was immortalised in the music, forever haunting the track? The air crackled with an unspoken tension, a palpable sense of unease that settled over the concert hall. The stage lights dimmed, casting long, ominous shadows across the hushed crowd. A lone figure emerged, bathed in a single spotlight, his face etched with a haunting sadness. Phil Collins, the opening chords of In the Air Tonight, echoed through the hall, a melancholic melody that sent shivers down the spines of those who knew the dark secret behind the song. The legend, whispered in hushed tones, spoke of a drowning, a tragic event witnessed by Collins himself. A young boy, struggling in the water, his cries for help growing weaker with each passing moment. And on the shore, a figure stood watching, close enough to save the child, yet frozen in inaction. Collins, too far away to intervene, watched in horror as the boy slipped beneath the waves, his life extinguished before his eyes. The song, they said, was a testament to that night, a haunting lament for a life lost, and a chilling indictment of the silent witness. The lyrics, imbued with a raw, visceral emotion, hinted at the darkness that consumed Collins, the burning rage and the agonizing helplessness he felt. The iconic drum solo, a primal scream of anguish, a cathartic release of pent-up emotion. But the legend didn't end there. Whispers turned into rumours, embellished with each retelling. Some claimed Collins had tracked down the person responsible, confronting them in a dramatic showdown. Others spoke of a curse, a supernatural retribution visited upon the silent witness. And then, the most chilling variation emerged, a story that sent shivers down the spines of concert-goers. They said Collins, during his performances of In the Air Tonight, would sometimes single out a member of the audience, someone he believed to be the guilty party. The spotlight would shift, illuminating their face, exposing them to the judgment of the crowd. As Collins sang, his voice filled with a chilling intensity, the lyrics taking on a new, accusatory meaning. The silent witness, they said, would be revealed, their dark secret exposed to the world. Tonight, as Collins sang, his eyes scanned the crowd, a flicker of recognition in their depths. The spotlight shifted, landing on a lone figure in the back, their face pale and drawn. A collective gasp rippled through the audience. The figure, bathed in the harsh glare of the spotlight, looked eerily familiar. A face Collins hadn't seen in years. The face of the boy who had drowned. There's a dark and twisted tale that circulates online, one that is both bizarre and deeply unsettling. It's the story of the Hippo Eats Dwarf, an urban legend that tells of a circus performer, an acrobat or clown, depending on who tells it, who met a horrific end at the jaws of a hippopotamus. The legend goes that during a circus performance, the dwarf performer was meant to interact with the animals in a carefully choreographed act, entertaining the crowd with his bravery and skill. However, something went horribly wrong. As the dwarf entered the enclosure to face the massive hippopotamus, the animal, typically calm and trained, suddenly became agitated. In a horrifying moment of confusion and fear, the hippopotamus lunged forward, its massive jaws snapping shut around the small man. The crowd screamed, but it was too late. Witnesses claimed that the hippopotamus swallowed the performer whole, a grisly spectacle that left the audience in shock and terror. The circus tried to cover up the incident, but the gruesome nature of the death spread like wildfire, becoming an urban legend that still sends chills down the spine of anyone who hears it. Some versions of the tale suggest that the circus attempted to retrieve the body, but all they found was the empty, bloated carcass of the hippopotamus, the man's remains never to be recovered. Others claim that the performer's spirit haunts the circus grounds, lingering in the shadows, seeking vengeance or simply trying to make sense of his bizarre and brutal fate. No matter the version, one thing is certain. The Hippo Eats Dwarf legend is one that continues to terrify, reminding us of the chaos and horror that can unfold when the line between performer and beast is tragically crossed. The Ohio River, winding its way through the city of Evansville, Indiana, has long been a place of mystery, a dark, undisturbed stretch of water where shadows move beneath the surface and secrets linger in its depths. But none of the stories are as chilling as the tale of the green-clawed beast young woman, swimming in the warm, murky waters of the Ohio River, was caught off guard by something she could not explain. As she paddled through the water, she felt a sudden, sharp pain, something gripping her leg, pulling her down into the dark depths. Panic surged through her chest as she struggled to break free, only to be dragged further under. Desperate, she reached down, only to feel the cold, rough texture of claws, green, like algae-coated talons, digging into her flesh. With one final, frantic pull, she wrenched herself free and surfaced, gasping for air, but the creature did not follow. Terrified, she fled to the shore, her leg marred by deep gashes that seemed to burn with an unnatural heat. She told her story to anyone who would listen, but no one believed her. At least not at first. It was only after other women began to report similar attacks that the legend of the green-clawed beast began to take shape. Women swimming in the Ohio River, or even simply wading in the shallows, were pulled under by invisible hands, their bodies scratched and bruised by the monster's powerful claws. The creature seemed to appear from nowhere, dragging its victims into the depths before retreating back to the darkness of the river. The green-clawed beast is said to be humanoid in shape, with long, sinewy arms and terrifyingly sharp green claws that glow faintly in the dim light of the river. Its skin is said to be slick and scaly, like that of some ancient amphibian, its eyes glowing with an unnatural hunger. Some say it is a creature of the river, born from the depths of the earth, awakened by the pollution and decay of the water. Others whisper that it is something far older, an ancient terror, long forgotten but never truly gone, that has always lurked beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to strike. The attacks continue to haunt the town to this day, with local legends speaking of the creature's periodic return, drawn by the scent of fresh blood or the call of an unsuspecting swimmer. Though the authorities have always dismissed the stories as nothing more than urban legends, the scars on the victims' legs and the eerie tales from those who survived tell a far darker story. And so, the green-clawed beast of the Ohio River lingers in the hearts of the people of Evansville, a nightmare that is never too far from the surface, waiting for the next unwitting soul to dip their toes too deep into its domain. If you ever find yourself on the riverbanks after dark, remember this. You might feel the water shift beneath you, a chill creeping up your spine, and then, just as the darkness swallows the last of the light, you'll hear the unmistakable scrape of claws against flesh. In the shadowed annals of maritime lore lies the chilling tale of the floating coffin of Charles Coghlan, a legend as haunting as the sea that carried it. Charles Coghlan, a celebrated actor born on Prince Edward Island, Canada, met his end far from home on November the 27th, 1899, in Galveston, Texas. His body was interred in a stately vault in Lakeview Cemetery, where it was thought to rest in peace. But the sea had other plans. The following year, in September 1900, the infamous Galveston hurricane struck with apocalyptic fury. Winds howled like banshees, and the surging waves claimed thousands of lives, including the dead already buried in the earth. Among the storm's grisly victims was Coghlan's coffin, torn from its resting place and cast into the raging Gulf waters. For years nothing was heard of the coffin's fate until a tale began to emerge. One whispered with disbelief and dread. According to legend, the coffin, guided by some unseen hand, or perhaps by Coghlan's unfulfilled yearning for home, drifted through the Gulf of Mexico, up the Atlantic coast, and across the icy waters, eventually washing ashore on the rugged shores of Prince Edward Island. There, it was said, his remains were laid to rest at last in the land of his birth, completing a ghostly thousands of miles. Though modern accounts debunk the fantastical end of the legend, claiming his coffin was discovered in 1907, partially submerged in a marsh just 9 miles from Galveston, the eerie myth endures. Ripley's Believe It or Not immortalised the story in 1929, solidifying its place in folklore. Even now, the tale of Charles Colan's floating coffin remains a ghostly reminder of nature's wrath and the strange forces that seem to guide the dead. Whispers linger of his spirit still haunting the restless seas, a man forever tethered to the tides that carried him home. In the quiet wooded landscape of Wisconsin, there's a chilling mystery that lingers in whispers and half-forgotten memories. According to legend, there once was a town named Doveland, a small, close-knit community with friendly neighbours and quiet streets. Yet, by the early 1990s, Doveland had disappeared without a trace. Not merely abandoned or decayed, but entirely erased, as if it had never existed. Today, there are no maps, no records, not even a mention of it in official documents. Yet, people swear they remember it, and others carry fragments of its memory in objects and eerie recollections. Locals and former residents insist they once visited or even lived in Doveland. They recall the roads, the town square, the shops, and the lake that glistened under summer skies. Some claim they have souvenirs, t-shirts, postcards, or even keychains that bear the name Doveland, Wisconsin. These objects are rare, kept like relics, though the origins are lost and faded, as if each one were a relic from a place beyond reach. Those who find themselves in possession of these objects describe an uneasy feeling, as if they hold a piece of something that wasn't meant to be remembered. The most unnerving aspect of the legend is that no one seems to agree on what happened to Doveland. Some say it was the result of a government experiment gone wrong, a project that shattered the fabric of reality itself. Others whisper about a tragedy so horrific that the town was erased to protect outsiders from its dark secrets. And still, there are those who believe Doveland simply slipped through a crack in time, disappearing into another dimension, leaving only the faintest of imprints in our world. Strangers passing through the area where Doveland once stood often report feeling lost or uneasy, as if they're being watched by something unseen. There are other eerie reports as well. Travellers say that on certain nights they've seen faint lights through the trees and heard the distant sounds of music and laughter, as though a town was still there, celebrating in the darkness. Some even say they've glimpsed ghostly figures in the shadows, walking along non-existent streets, whispering words that dissolve in the wind. People who claim to have lived in Doveland share an unsettling commonality. They all experience recurring dreams of returning to the town, walking familiar streets, greeted by familiar faces, faces they now cannot remember. They wake with a sense of deep loss, as if a part of themselves was left behind in that town that no longer exists. Strangers who visit the region sometimes describe feeling a magnetic pull to a place that doesn't appear on any map, or an intense sense of déjà vu, like they've stepped into a place they once knew but cannot recall. Doveland, Wisconsin remains an enigma, a town lost to time or perhaps to something far darker. Its absence lingers like a wound, and those who remember it are left with the eerie feeling This eerie forest has stood still, haunted by trees turned to stone, their wood transformed into glistening shards over millennia. Tourists marvel at the colours and textures, but there's a rule among locals: never take a piece of the forest home. The curse, they say, is vengeful and patient. Stories tell of visitors who couldn't resist pocketing a fragment of petrified wood, believing they'd taken only a small, harmless memento. But the forest doesn't forgive theft. Those who take from Escalante soon find themselves ensnared in a web of relentless misfortune. One man, who once laughed off the legend, lost his job within a week. His family fell into financial ruin, and he became consumed by regret, unable to escape the shadow of his actions. Others have faced accidents so sudden and strange they could only be explained by the curse. A woman who took a single stone reported a horrifying series of events. Her car veered off the road on her way home, narrowly escaping a fatal crash. Her health began to fail inexplicably, her body growing weaker as if drained by an unseen force. Her nights became plagued with nightmares of twisted, ghostly trees, watching her with hollow, accusing eyes. Desperate to break the curse, people mail pieces of petrified wood back to the park, hoping for mercy. Rangers at Escalante receive hundreds of packages each year, filled with stones and pleas for forgiveness. Letters pour in, recounting stories of illness, financial collapse, and near-death experiences. The packages lie unopened, scattered as grim reminders that the forest does not forget. So, the legend endures, a chilling warning to those who visit. Leave the forest as you found it, or face its wrath. The petrified trees of Escalante may seem still and silent, but they guard their secrets jealously. Those who steal from them awaken a curse, one that clings to their lives, unrelenting until the debt is paid, or until they are no more. In the shadows of Terrell, Texas, whispers and warnings have woven a chilling legend through the generations. A tale that clings to the fringes of nightmare and reality. They call her the Candy Lady, but behind the innocuous name lurks a sinister spectre named Clara Crane, whose story has haunted the town for over a century. The legend began in the early 1900s, when children in Terrell started to vanish without a trace. Desperate parents scoured the land, dredging the creeks and combing through the thickets, but none could unearth any sign of their missing offspring. As the community groped for answers, a disturbing pattern emerged. Children reported finding candies on their windowsills, pieces of caramels wrapped in crinkling parchment paper, with tiny notes urging them to come out and play. The notes were always signed with a simple, eerie C. Whispered tales from older folks traced the unsettling gifts back to Clara Crane, a woman once known among the townsfolk. Clara, they said, had lived on the fringes of Terrell, a reclusive and peculiar widow, whose only solace after the death of her abusive husband was her young daughter. Her life spiraled into darkness when her daughter mysteriously died, with local gossip suggesting foul play. The town shunned her, whispering that she had gone mad with grief, her mind twisted by the tragedy. Some said she blamed the children of Terrell for her loss, believing they had enticed existence. But the story of the Candy Lady did not end with her disappearance. It was as if her spirit, unquelled by death or reason, continued to seek vengeance. The candies kept appearing, each piece an eerie invitation from beyond the grave. The most unsettling accounts involve letters found with the older children, written as if Clara herself were conversing with them from the shadows. These letters were more sinister, promising the children their fill of sweets in life and in death. It was as if Clara was crafting a congregation of souls, luring the innocent with sugar-coated deceit. Late at night, when the moon cast a ghostly glow across the fields, some claimed to see a figure near the edge of the woods, a silhouette of a woman in a tattered gown, her face obscured by the darkness. They said it was Clara, watching, waiting for her next child to claim. Those who dared to venture too close to the woods at night reported hearing the soft, unsettling melody of a lullaby drifting through the trees, only to be swallowed up by the suffocating silence of the unseen. To this day, the legend of Clara Crane, the Candy Lady, lingers in the air of Tyrrell like a thick fog. Parents tightly secure their windows, wary of the old tale, and remind their children to steer clear of the sweets that might appear unbidden. As Halloween approaches each year, the tension in the town tightens, a collective memory of the loss stirring in the hearts of those who remember. And so, the community watches and waits, the legend of Clara Crane etched deep in their bones, a spectral reminder that some tales are too chilling to be forgotten, and some spirits too vengeful to rest. Let's journey into the peaceful waters of the Pacific coast, where legends of Cadborosaurus, a mysterious sea serpent, drift in the waves. Relax and let the soothing tale unfold. Cadborosaurus, affectionately known as Caddy, is a legendary sea serpent that has captured the imagination of many along the Pacific coast of North America. Its name is derived from Cadboro Bay, a coastal area in Greater Victoria, British Columbia, where it has reportedly been spotted numerous times over the years. The legend of Caddy has become a staple of local folklore, with stories of its sightings stretching from Alaska to California, although British Columbia remains its most frequent haunt. Described as a massive, snake-like creature, Cadborosaurus is said to possess a long serpentine body, often estimated to be between 10 to 50 feet in length. Witnesses describe its head as horse-like, with large eyes, and sometimes small horns or fins protruding from the sides. The creature is also thought to have humps along its back, similar to the classic sea serpent imagery that has been passed down through various cultures around the world. These humps are often visible as it glides just beneath the surface of the water, leaving a distinct wake in its path. Caddy's elusive nature adds to the mystery surrounding it. There are countless accounts from sailors, fishermen, and beachgoers who claim to have seen the creature, yet no definitive physical evidence has ever been produced to confirm its existence. The creature is usually reported to move with great speed, effortlessly cutting through the water, making it difficult to capture or photograph. Some theories suggest that Caddy could be a type of prehistoric marine animal that has managed to survive in the deep, unexplored its impressive size. Throughout the years, various expeditions and searches have been launched to find Cadborosaurus, but none have succeeded in proving the creature's existence. In 1937, the legend gained even more traction when the carcass of a strange sea creature, believed by some to be caddy, was found in the stomach of a sperm whale. The discovery sparked a flurry of media attention, but the remains were never properly examined, and skeptics argue that the body was likely that of a known marine species. Despite the lack of solid evidence, the legend of Cadborosaurus lives on, inspiring curiosity and wonder about what might still be lurking beneath the waves. Tonight, we journey to Iowa City, where the eerie legend of the Black Angel awaits. Let the mysterious tale of this cursed statue guide you into a peaceful and restful sleep. The Black Angel is a haunting urban legend centered around a statue in Oakland Cemetery, Iowa City. The statue, standing over 8 feet tall, was erected in 1912 to mark the grave of Teresa Feldevert, a woman of Czech descent. Over time, the statue gained a sinister reputation, and many locals began to believe it was cursed. The Black Angel originally had a bright bronze colour, but as the years passed, it darkened to a deep black, which fueled the legend's eerie narrative. Some say the change in colour represents the anger or grief of Teresa's spirit. Others believe the blackened statue is an omen of death, with various warnings attached to it. One popular belief is that anyone who touches or kisses the statue will be met with an untimely death. Another variation claims that those who look directly into the angel's eyes at midnight will be cursed. The statue's mysterious appearance, combined with its dark colour and imposing presence, has made it a popular site for paranormal enthusiasts and thrill seekers. Many visit the cemetery to test the legend, while others keep their distance, unwilling to risk the supposed curse. Though the Black Angel story is rooted in local folklore, the real cause of the statue's discoloration is simply weathering and oxidation of the bronze. Despite this, the legend remains a captivating part of Iowa City's history, continuing to intrigue and frighten those who hear it. Whether cursed or not, the Black Angel stands as a reminder of how myths can grow around even the most ordinary objects. Tonight, let's uncover the haunting legend of the Bell Witch, a mysterious entity that terrorized a family in early 19th century Tennessee. Relax and let this eerie tale guide you to restful sleep. The Bell Witch is an enduring folklore legend that originated in Robertson County, Tennessee, from 1817 to 1821. The story centers around the Bell family, particularly John Bell Sr., a farmer whose household and nearby community were reportedly terrorized by a mysterious and mostly invisible entity. Unlike typical ghost stories, the Bell Witch was said to be capable of speaking, interacting with the physical environment, and even shape-shifting. According to legend, the haunting began when John Bell Sr. encountered strange phenomena on his property. including unexplained noises such as knocking and scratching and the sighting of bizarre animals. As time went on, the entity became more aggressive, attacking family members by pulling their hair, slapping them, and speaking in a disembodied voice. The witch, as it came to be known, seemed to hold a particular hatred for John Bell Sr. and his daughter Betsy. The Bell Witch's powers reportedly escalated, with the entity predicting events and conversing with visitors to the Bell home. Some accounts even claim that the witch was responsible for John Bell Sr.'s death in 1820, allegedly poisoning him. Over the years, the Bell Witch legend has grown into a widely known ghost story, with many believing it to be one of the most famous hauntings in American history. While the true cause of the events remains a mystery, the story of the Bell Witch continues to capture the imaginations of those fascinated by the paranormal. The legend persists today, with people still visiting the site in Tennessee, where the Bell family once lived, in search of answers to the eerie tale. Tonight, let's explore the eerie legend of the Bandage Man, a mysterious figure said to haunt the coastal roads of Oregon. Relax, unwind, and drift off as we delve into this haunting tale. The Bandage Man is a chilling urban legend from the Pacific Northwest, particularly well known along the Oregon coast. The story centers around a mysterious and terrifying figure, a man wrapped in bloody bandages who appears on desolate roads to attack cars and terrorize unsuspecting teenagers. The origins of this legend trace back to a gruesome sawmill accident, but over the years, the tale has taken on a life of its own, becoming a favourite local ghost story passed down through generations. According to the legend, the Bandage Man was once a logger who worked in the dangerous and grueling timber industry. One day, he was involved in a horrific accident at a local sawmill, where he was caught in a machine and severely mangled. Despite the efforts to save him, the man's injuries were too grave. He was wrapped in bandages from head to toe in a desperate attempt to treat his wounds, but he ultimately succumbed to his injuries. Some versions of the story claim that his body was disfigured beyond recognition, with parts of him missing, only held together by the blood-soaked bandages that covered him. Following his death, strange sightings began to occur on a stretch of road near Cannon Beach, Oregon. Drivers and teenagers parked in their cars at night reported seeing a man wrapped in bandages appearing out of the shadows, often described as limping or dragging himself toward the vehicle. In some accounts, the Bandage Man would climb onto the car, leaving bloody handprints on the windows, or even break the windows to try and grab the passengers. The legend also says that he smells of decaying flesh, and that his bandages are stained with blood, adding to the horror of his appearance. The Bandage Man is particularly known for targeting teenagers who are parked on secluded roads, often in a romantic or isolated setting. Many locals warn that if you're parked along the coast late at night, especially in areas like Highway 101, you might become the next victim of the bandage man's terrifying wrath. In some versions of the story, he's said to disappear without a trace as quickly as he appears, leaving only the unsettling memory of the encounter and, sometimes, remnants of his bloodied bandages. There are various theories about why the bandage man haunts this specific area and why he appears so frequently. Some say that his restless spirit is seeking revenge for his untimely and gruesome death, angry at the world and jealous of those still alive. Others believe that he is merely a remnant of a tragic accident, forever trapped between life and death, doomed to wander the roads near his old workplace. While no one has ever been seriously harmed by the bandage man, his legend has become a part of the local folklore, with many claiming to have had a close encounter with the eerie figure. Teenagers in the area continue to share stories of near misses with him, recounting their fear as they sped away from what they believed to be the ghostly figure chasing after them. Some locals suggest that the bandage man legend serves as a cautionary tale, warning young people not to linger too long on dark, deserted roads late at night. Though there is no concrete evidence to support the existence of the bandage man, his story persists, growing with each retelling. As with many urban legends, the bandage man thrives on the fear of the unknown and the unsettling idea that danger could be lurking just beyond the edge of the headlights. The remote and rugged landscape of the Oregon coast only adds to the atmosphere, making the story even more believable for those who live there. Welcome to tonight's story, The 27 Club, a calming tale of famous artists lost too soon. Relax, let go, and drift peacefully as the legend unfolds. The 27 Club is an infamous urban legend, suggesting that a disproportionately high number of famous musicians, artists, and celebrities die at the age of 27. This belief stems from the deaths of several well-known figures in music and art, who all tragically passed away at this age. Among them are Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones, iconic guitarist Jimi Hendrix, soulful singer Janis Joplin, punk vocalist Mia Zapata, The Doors frontman Jim Morrison, Nirvana's Kurt Cobain, painter Jean-Michel Basquiat, and most recently, singer-songwriter Amy Winehouse. The idea behind the 27 Club first gained traction in the early 1970s, especially following the deaths of Hendrix, Joplin, and Morrison, who all died within a short span between 1969 and 1971. Their youth, extraordinary talent, and sudden demises at the same age fed into the myth, making it seem like there was a pattern or curse surrounding the number 27. As more artists joined the list over the years, particularly Kurt Cobain in the 1990s and Amy Winehouse in 2011, the legend became more widely accepted in popular culture. However, despite the eerie coincidences, the notion that there is a statistically significant spike in celebrity deaths at age 27 has been debunked numerous times. Several studies have analyzed the ages of musicians' deaths and found no unusual pattern at this specific age. While the deaths of these iconic figures are tragic, they reflect a broader issue of the high pressures and risks that often come with fame, including struggles with substance abuse, mental health issues, chaotic lifestyle of the entertainment industry. The 27 Club endures in part because of society's fascination with early death and the romanticization of tortured artists who burn brightly before extinguishing too soon. While it's tempting to believe in a mysterious pattern or curse, the reality is that these talented individuals' deaths were the result of human vulnerabilities rather than supernatural